Okay, let's talk about Boy Scouts. If you don't know what a Boy Scout is, Boy Scouts rule the world. A Boy Scout is a group of boys. They form a little military, paramilitary organization, and no girls allowed. Bros before hoes. That's the Boy Scouts. And these Boy Scout groups can be found all over the world. Many different names, many different faces, many different colors. But no matter where you find a group of Boy Scouts, you will find exploitation, violence towards nature, violence towards women, exploitation of children and women, etc., etc. The Boy Scouts are the people who have destroyed this planet deliberately. And yes, of course, the Boy Scouts founded all major religions because all major religions, if you notice, were founded by a bunch of gangsters and pedophiles. Gangsters definitely, pedophiles all too often, all too often. And this is the world we live in. Zulu Nation, as Leila Wills has exposed, are Boy Scouts. The structure is what matters. If the structure of the group is oppressive, if the structure of the group is a hierarchy, if the structure of the group is Boy Scout, it is an oppressive group, period. And see what the Zulu Nation and Nuwabians and the Five Percenters and all these groups, first of all, they're all founded by gangsters. That's undisputable. And a lot of them were gangsters slash pedophiles. Literally, these people molded hip hop. Who molded hip hop more than the founder of that Nuwabians or the founders of the Five Percenters? Between the Nuwabians and the Five Percenters, that is all the greatest MCs that have ever come out of New York, basically. And I'm tired of people falling into these religions and cults and getting exploited and getting turned into poppies, shooters for the Boy Scouts. That's why I'm so glad that Leila Wills has the courage to expose hip hop, the hip hop culture for what it really is. Because I love hip hop. The good stuff I'll never stop playing, even if the MC is saying some dumb shit. Because it's the vibe, it's the sense of empowerment, you know what I mean? But when you get down into the nuts and bolts of what these religions really are, it's a bunch of gangsters wearing priest robes. That's what religion is. It's a bunch of gangsters and pedophiles and sexual predators wearing priest robes and talking all godly. If you cannot get to that understanding, whether they be black, white, Chinese, whatever they are, you're always going to be exploited. And so that's the fertile soil in which a Zulu nation can thrive. You know, because and if you ask me, I think it's a little bit suspicious that Bambaataa was allowed to basically lift another musician's famous song to start his career. Because as these interviews with Leila are showing, Bambaataa became the head figure because of his association with the record industry. Not because he was the biggest, baddest dude in the streets. Bambaataa became the figurehead because of his association with the music business and celebrity. So you tell me, why was he chosen to be a celebrity off a record that wasn't even his own record? And you'll see that it all connects back to Boy Scoutism. The Boy Scouts saw one of their own and they set up a little franchise. And they called the franchise pro-black, and too many people fell for it. I would have fallen for it. If I was, around this, I would have been a Zulu. Zulu Nation was the coolest shit. Like, all the dopest rappers were screaming Zulu. I have friends that were Zulu. And they're not gay or anything. But I don't have a problem with the title of Leila's work. Because she can't call it what she really wants to, so she has to use the word gay. And we need to expose Boy Scoutism. We need to start talking about Boy Scoutism and how it's taken over the world behind closed doors. And these guys walk around and they perpetrate like they're something they're not, when in fact behind closed doors there are Boy Scouts, and they're violent Boy Scouts who are willing to commit murder to cover up their crimes and their Boy Scoutism. It's a sick, toxic mix of mental illness and money and power. So kudos to Leila for tackling this issue. It's a difficult issue. She's making a lot of enemies, and they already know the cat's out of the bag, so it is what it is. Bambaataa's walking around the BX, so he ain't worried. He ain't worried about this documentary. It's not ever going to get promoted by YouTube or anything like that. It won't be picked up by Netflix probably, because they don't want to touch it. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Salute to Leila, and salute to hip hop, all the hip hoppers who are taking this in and just dealing with reality. We deal with reality. We deal with what is, not what we want to be. And the fact is that these dudes were not who we thought they were. And that these religions that they are promoting that were supposed to be empowering, they had a language, they had a slang that made it seem empowering, but when you look at the structure, the actual organization itself, it's just another Boy Scout troop. It's the Great Plague.